Hi. Exam 1 review. I guess no one is excited about that one. We have Exam 1 scheduled for the next weekend. Actually, you scheduled the exam for next weekend because you picked that weekend. It will be available Friday, Saturday, Sunday on Canvas. And here are some rules that need to be followed in order for exam to count and be valid. And most of this is what has to happen on the college level. Anyway, so exam 1 on Canvas. Friday, and the date for the Friday is 25, so 9/25. Saturday 9/26, and Sunday 9/27. So that's the dates. It's usually 10 or 11 questions, 100 points at 11% in the syllabus. That's the one that counts the least. And you have 90 minutes from the time you start, unless there are accommodations and other things that have to be taken into account, but that is dealt through the office. Now, when done, email your work within, I would say, 5 minutes. The time it takes you to take the pictures or scan into PDF. I've seen students use their cell phone to scan the pages using the camera. It works as a scanner. To scan the pages into PDF and send me. Then I had students take the pictures and send it. And I did explain earlier that your work will be used for grading. In Canvas, you can only plug in answers, and at best, that's worth 20% of your grade, at best. If you don't send the work, so the highest score, if everything is correct, you can score is 20% out of 100. Your exam will shut down after 90 minutes, and then you have 5 minutes or so to send the work in. Do not send it the next day or the next hour or so on. We do not accept that because technically you had another hour to work on the problems. So it's considered cheating. Therefore, once you complete your exam, immediately send the work into to email. And that's it. There is nothing else I think that you need to know. It's chapters 1 and 2 and so on, but we're going to go through topics now and deal with things that are going to be there on the exam. So exam is going to be chapters 1 and 2, and then, as I said, 10 to 11 questions. You are guaranteed to have definition of the function. So that question is on the test without thinking about it. That's going to be one of the questions for 4 points, and you either write it correctly or you don't. And then we're going to have a couple of questions from chapter 1. So I said about 30% of the of the exam should be chapter 1, which is some of the key concepts from pre-calculus. So work with function composition, graph a function. This one will be big through the whole course. Find the domain. Find an inverse of the function. What else is good? Usually, I think these are the main points. Function composition, the function graphing, find domain. I mean, compute the function, but that's just plug the value in. I don't really need to plug that, say that, because you guys are computing functions anyway. So I think that's that, and then we're gonna switch to precise definition of limit. That's 2.7. Then graphs plus explanation, also 2.7. And then we just have the rest. So limits by graph, we had the question earlier today. Chart, plugin, algebra, squeeze, and that's it for now. There will be more limits added later. We have vertical asymptote, horizontal asymptote. I'm going to put slant asymptote along with the horizontal because it's a special case. Now, when I say these, you are using limits. So limit x goes to a of f of x is positive or negative infinity. Limit x goes to positive negative infinity of f of x is equal to L. Those are those. End behavior. So that's one of them as well. Continuity, which has 3 rules, which is at the point, right? It has theorem, which is the one that says, well, let's just say global continuity. Global continuity theorem. Then we have combinations and composition theorem. Theorem use. Discontinuities, so we have those 3 graphs. 3 graphs, discontinuities, discontinuity. And I think that's it. Yep. So the smallest amount of material on the exam is for this particular exam, obviously. The smallest amount of concepts and answers to some questions are writing, not all calculations. So if I say what's the definition of a function, you're writing the words only, there will be no numbers. If I ask you to check the continuity of global continuity of a function, then you go and write a paragraph of, okay, this is polynomial, it's always continuous, and then that's divided by another polynomial, and another polynomial cannot be zero, and so on. So the paragraph would be the answer to that calculus question. So calculus exams tend to be different than all your previous exams, because previous exams only had, you know, what we call monkey sees, monkey do, right? The problems that you have seen examples before many times, and if you practiced in class and homework and studied in addition to that, you have to do well. But in calculus now, as I said, I teach a concept on f of x equals x squared, and then the exam has e to the x. It's a different function. So example looks differently, but it's actually the same calculus concept, which means that you should be equally able to perform limits on sine, also as on e to the x, the same as ln x, the same as x squared, because it is limit of f of x that you are learning, not specifically limit of e to the x only, or limit of x squared. So the argument of I have never seen that example in the past doesn't fly in calculus, and it only means that you haven't studied enough to see that example. I mentioned also previously that I cannot work out every single example for every single function, because simply we have over 20 functions you have learned so far. That means that I would have to do minimum of 20 examples for each calculus concept I teach. So it's your job to do as many homework exercises as you can, as many study plan exercises as you can, textbook exercises, and you have a lot of access to me in terms of office hours, a lot of access to the tutoring center as well, if you need additional help, and obviously, you know, tens of thousands of YouTube videos on every one of these concepts. So I think this covers everything that you need to know for the exam next weekend. Make sure that you are starting taking the exam at least, I would say, 2 hours prior to closure of the exam. If you start 10 minutes before the deadline where the exam closes, you have 10 minutes for the exam. So your 90 minutes will start ticking at the time you join, and it will end in 90 minutes provided that exam date is not closing. So if we say that the exam is closing at noon, then start no later than 10 a.m. If we say that the exam closes at 6 p.m. for all students, now generally I close exam on Sunday at noon so that I can grade and have the exam ready for students very quickly. But being that your class is only once a week, I don't have to worry about that stuff, so we can have the exam open, whatever. Okay, that's it. I hope all of this stuff made sense. If you have any quick questions, or not quick questions, regarding the content, regarding the format of the exam, now is good time to ask. And the remaining, once we shut down the review portion, the office hour portion, you can ask calculus questions. I mean, you can also ask now. Anyone have any questions? Yes. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Sample exams on MyMathLab. So open assignments, change to quizzes and tests, and then just scroll down. You're looking for chapter 2, yes, post-test. Give yourself about 2.5 hours, I believe. I think that it's about twice as long as your regular exam. The software will not let you see the answers question by question. It will take all of your input, and once you submit the test, it will give you the overall exam grade. That grade is not reported to me. It's only for you, for practice. So you are welcome to take that test as many times as you want, and when you go in, it changes the numbers and functions around, so you are not taking the same test again and again. So you can't memorize it. It will truly measure your ability to perform. And obviously, if you at any point have to look at a formula or a procedure or something, you do not know that concept. And down the line, it will just get worse because we forget more stuff as the time passes. So the less you know for exam 1 will exponentially get worse for exam 2, 3, final, and then eventually become impossible in Calc 2. So try to, this goes for all students, not just right for you who asked. Try to learn every concept to know it, because your physics courses later on will use it, your engineering courses will use it, your economics courses will use it. Especially when you go to 300-400 level if you're planning on transferring. And obviously the more you know, the easier it becomes down the line. So yes, sample exams on MyMathLab. Anything else? What that? So chapter 1 post-test will depend on your knowledge of the pre-calculus and coming into the course. I would definitely say yes, but everyone has their own measure of success, I guess, and know how much they know from. Some students report to me that they haven't taken math course in 5 years. Well, obviously you forgot a lot of stuff, right? Chapter 1 is all pre-calculus. There's no calculus in it. So if you are really good with that stuff, then you don't have to. But it's good to at least to try and see. Can you find inverse of the function without thinking about it? That's the question. It's gonna take 2.5 hours of your life to take that exam, maybe 2 hours, I don't know. And it will tell you that, you are doing well or you're not doing well, and tell you what to review. Because once you submit these sample exams, you can review the exam, see which problems you got wrong, and then you know which concepts you need to work on and make better. So, think about those. That's it, yeah. That's the minimum. Go ahead, do all 30. It's okay. I mean, the homework is there for you to practice, and you practice as much as you need. 5 is the minimum which is required, because the 10% of the grade is devoted to the homework. So I have to have some requirement. So whatever you go and solve is good, but 5 is the required minimum. Yeah, minimum of 5 is important, and then you're going to have the 100% on your you're going to have 100% on the labs. So make sure that you do all of the lab problems, and the lab is posted, it should be on the bottom of your, I'm going to verify one more time, but I know I fixed it this morning. Oh, okay, it's posted, okay. I'm just logging on right now on my MATLAB to check the thing. And I also had to verify your name. You signed it as a Bob Ross, so um, interesting. Okay, so we have assignments, and yes, lab 1 is on the bottom, and the extended days for 2.5 and 2.6. So you're just making sure that you have all of your what do you call it? You have all of your problems solved for the lab, 100% of them, and minimum of 5 for each homework assignment. So usually the students go in homework and do 5 problems each, and then they go back and practice, and then when the homework closes, you can go to study plan and keep practicing more. So yeah, that's the best way to do this. Anything else? Well, the paragraph questions that are answered through writing, you are clearly typing everything in. Calculations are you take photos and you send them in the email. So if the question says state this definition or a theorem, or what is the continuity, check the continuity for this global continuity of this function, those are all written answers where you have sentences and paragraphs and no calculations. So the entire problem will be typed into Canvas. For other problems where you get answer 7 at the end, you will just type in 7 as the answer in Canvas, and the work will be in a picture and emailed to me. So I will see it, and you will receive full credit. And if the answer is wrong, then I have your work for a partial credit. So that's the way it goes on the test. Great. All right. So if there are no further questions, that will be the end of the stream. And make sure that you take your exam at some point next week, and stop by my office hours if you have any other questions. Bye.